My name is June A.K.A Skinny Black, A.K.A Patrick Braddock Jr. I'm a producer. I'm an MC. I dabble with DJing. I sing a little bit, I guess, and I also play percussion for two different live hip hop bands. Skinny Black, that was kind of like back when a nigga was trying to be hard and stuff and bang and whatnot. It was just like a little. That was a name that was given to me actually when I first moved to California. Something like I used to live in Tulare County, which is like Central California or Northern California, if you will. And I used to run with some Norteños or whatever, and they would call me Skinny Black, Flaco Negro. And June is just June is just short for Junior because me and my dad have the same name, Patrick Braddock Jr.
Just being from Alaska, how that affect you culturally? Because when I think of Alaska, I think there's probably like 5 black people out there, and the rest are just bears and white.
That's usually like what everybody thinks when you think of Alaska, but I lived in Anchorage, Alaska, which is the biggest city in Alaska. It's a population of like 300,000 people. And you have like, the kind of like we were talking about earlier, like you were asking if I was a military brat. And it's like, that was like real prevalent up there, like, because a lot of people would come from different places being like in the military, and there was a Air Force base and an Army base all like in the same town. I think it was definitely like different growing up there, but it wasn't like so much to where like when I moved to California it was like a culture shock. Because one thing that I did like about Anchorage is it's a pretty like progressive city. It's almost like a Seattle or like a Austin, and it's like a cultural melting pot. There's a lot of different stuff that goes on. Like as far as hip hop goes, the West Coast definitely has the West Coast hip hop scene has a big influence on like Anchorage, Alaska.
Really?
But yeah, 'cause I mean, if you really think about it, we're further west than
Sure.
California. But like it's not just that. Like you get a lot of like southern influence from southern hip hop and just like people being from the South, and like even like when I was younger, when I was 15, I had a gold grill like in high school. Like wilding out, doing stuff.
What prompts you into music? What got you in there?
Basically, like it's in my blood, man. I've been doing music, performing since I was 6 years old. Like probably like earlier, but like actually getting up in front of a crowd and performing in front of people, I've been doing that since I was 6. Because my mother was the youth choir director for our church, so I kind of didn't have a choice. I had to be in the choir, from age 6 to 12. I was in the youth choir. We had, a rehearsal every week and a performance every Sunday. And like from then on, like music was already kind of in me. I was always more art prone. Like my parents always thought I was going to be like an artist or something, because I like to draw a lot. But I kind of found my awakening, I guess, like when I was really doing music for me was elementary school band. And that was like 5th and 6th grade. I started playing alto sax, and I kept up with alto sax through about middle school, and then that's when I switched to percussion, about 7th or 8th grade.
So, because you're playing congas now, right?
Yeah. I picked up the congas like about 7 years ago.
Or is there a reason why you chose the congas, or is it just?
It's a funny story. When I was going to Ventura Community College, I was basically the jazz band director knew that I rapped, and he had this idea for this song where it's like "Wake Up Everybody," I think by like Harold Melvin, and like Common and the Roots did a cover of it not too long ago. Like it was around that same time, 2010, like 2009, and he had this arrangement. This dude is like, his name's Leslie Drake, and he used to arrange for like Marvin Gaye and Earth, Wind and Fire, and like he's got a crazy catalog. But he approached me. It was crazy because I was at a orchestra concert. I was in the orchestra at Ventura College. I was in the orchestra. It was like an intermission, and I'm like going to the bathroom or something, and then I run into the jazz band teacher, and he's like, "Hey Patrick, like, how's it going, man? Y'all sound pretty good tonight." And he's like, one question. He's like, "Do you rap?" I was like, "Yes, sir." And then he's like, "All right, come to jazz band rehearsal next Tuesday. I got something for you." Come through, and then they played a song, and he's like, "Yeah, we want you to rap on it." So I wrote like a 32 bar verse and like rapped it with the band and whatnot. And it was like a big hit, big success. It went well. And then he was like, "You know, we're gonna do it again next year. Now, I got another idea kind of with you rapping." He's like, "But don't think you're gonna be a part of this jazz band just by rapping." He's like, you're a percussionist and you don't own an instrument. Because at the time I didn't own any drums. You know, I was just using what the school had. But like, if you're really serious about your craft, if you're really serious about, you know, music, you need to, you know, practice what you preach, or at least, you know, own like something, like even like a starter drum kit or like something starter level to at least practice with at home, so you ain't got no excuses for like, you know, why you suck. And first thing I did was I went out and I bought some bongos, which are like smaller. Those are the ones you hold in between your knees.
Yeah, yeah.
I brought those and brought them to the class, and he was like, "Good effort, but like, nah, we don't need bongos in this band." He was like, "Get you some congas." Went on Craigslist, found some LP Matadors in Arcadia. Went and drove and got them. It was $275 with the stand, and I still got them to this day. And they were made in like 1996, so they're kind of pseudo vintage shit. But that's how the conga playing starts, man.
What is it that you want to bring into the culture, being, you know, I guess I don't want to say primarily jazz, now just being a purveyor of music and everything?
I just want to bring more live instrumentation and stuff, like being a MC and a producer slash percussionist type thing. Like, I really haven't found like a direct way to define my role, but like being that in two bands, like live hip hop bands, definitely like influences the way that I produce, like the way that I want things to sound, the way that I know that things can sound, like, and just having that live element to it. It's like it's so much more captivating. Like, if you can see like your favorite rapper with a live band performing like classic hits. Like, I recently went to go see DJ Premier in the Batter Band because my friend Brady Watt plays bass for that band, and we went to go check him out. I think it was me and DJ Chuck. We went to go check him out at the Observatory, and it's just like trumpet player, trombone player, bass player, and DJ Premier. And it's like not even, you know, like a full band. Oh yeah, and a drummer. Sorry, my bad, drummers. But it's really not even like a full band per se, but just the intensity, like that it added, that the live aspect added to like all the old school primo joints. Like, it was just like re-experiencing like DJ Premier all over again. So it's like, if I could take that and put that into my music, like, because that's all a recording is just like a tangible form of a performance.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so like if I could just find a way to almost not even backtrack, I guess it's the way it's supposed to go. It's just like, if I could take the same energy and that, you know, that edge from a live performance and put that into like a track or like a beat or whatever, like, I think it'll make it that much more not like successful, but that much more
intimate or like
intimate, and then contain like more content. Like, it'll be bigger than, you know, just something out of the box. Like, not knocking, you know, producers that use laptops and whatnot, but it's like, I feel like it's gotten to a point where nowadays it's just a little too readily available.
Do you feel as a producer who could play instruments and you know, actually go out there and make your own beats from scratch? Do you feel like that's like a notch in your belt or like a feather in your hat?
Yeah, I feel like it definitely gives you the upper hand because, I mean, you don't never have to worry about running, for the most part, you don't have to worry about running into any sampling issues. Like, that's one of the biggest things with rap albums is like when people are waiting and waiting, like, oh, the album got pushed back a week or two. It's like they're waiting on samples to clear. That's like one of the last things, you know. Like they're waiting on samples to clear, or like, you know, artwork or mastering or something. But for the most part, it's like sample clearances, and if you can like avoid that, you could save your fans some heartache and headaches, save yourself some headaches and heartaches, and still get like dope music across. But I mean, like at the same token, like I don't want to knock, you know, purists or whatever, cats who are just, you know, cats who don't or may not necessarily be, you know, like as musically inclined to pick up an instrument, but they're still like wizards with an MPC. Like I try to like challenge myself to do stuff like that all the time. Like even though I can play stuff, I still like, you know, keep it true to where it came from and try to, like, I still sample, like, don't get it twisted, I can play stuff, but at the end of the day, sometimes samples is like, you don't always have, you know, the instrument or the talent around, you know, to play exactly what you want, and sometimes the sample is just like exactly that.
What's your process? Because I know your time is not limited, but it's being stretched because, you know, you're with two bands, you're doing your own solo things.
Still working 9 to 5.
So
all kinds of shit.
What's your process on just getting everything together and then be like, all right, I'm gonna go do this for this band, do this for that band, then I gotta come back, you know, go to work, and then I gotta come home after work, get a little bit of sleep, and start working on my solo project. Right?
I don't know. I find the time. I don't know, man. I just make it work. So I don't even know how I do it sometimes, bro. But
just make it happen.
Yeah, it just happens.
Or what's the style that you're looking to do, like as a producer wise?
I just want to be remembered, man. For me, I don't want to be like a copy, like a carbon copy. I want to be able to bring something different to like where we are in hip hop now, and like I like to take a lot of different influences. I mean, kind of like what anybody does, just take all your influences and kind of just ball them into one thing. But then at the same time, like you gotta put your own personality over on top of that.
You got like that Bruce Lee mindset.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it's very like some Zen like master type shit, bro. Like you just, I don't know, man. It's tough. Yeah, it's like, it's not like I'm trying like, oh shit, like I gotta make some fucking off the wall shit so like I can be different. It's just like but then at the same time, it's not like I'm trying to be organic or trying to make it sound organic. I guess it just kind of comes how it is, but like I guess that's just me. That's just what I have to give, and I hope that like that, you know, I could be remembered for it someday. You know, that's the goal, man. Like I do this shit for the love and whatnot. It would be cool to you know, get paid. Or at least I get paid to do music, but like, to do it for a living, get paid to do music for a living, like that's a goal. But the main fucking thing for me is just leaving something behind for people to like remember. Because a lot of the rappers I listen to are dead, but you know that shit is still relevant. It still resonates with, you know, me and a hell of a lot of other people, and like I feel like that's something special, man, because you're essentially a part of history, even if it's just music history or whatever.
The love for the craft, like how do you keep it up? You know what I mean? Cause
going out and seeing other people performing, like me, I'm naturally like really competitive, so like it's not like I'm hating on people like when I go to see them perform, but when I go to see other people perform and I'm not on stage, dog, I'm like, nigga, that could be me, dog. I could do that, like, type of shit, bruh. I don't know, it's just like that competitor spirit in me, bruh. And I feel like the fact that I go to so many shows and I go see my friends perform and I go see, you know, some of my favorite artists perform, and, you know, any genre, and it's just like, it just kind of inspires you. It's just inspirational. Like, it kind of, like, when I go to a show, for the most part, like, when I come home, unless I'm like trashed, like, I'm inspired to like try to do something. Like, oh, maybe I could tighten up this verse, or like maybe I could like make a new beat, or like I hear something and like, you know, it starts to evolve into something. And like, I really feel like going to see performances is really good. Is a really good way to stay passionate about it. Because when you go and you see other people doing it, it's almost kind of like you got a girl and, you know, you didn't appreciate her when you had her, and then you see somebody else with her and you like, damn, like it just makes you appreciate it more, or appreciate like what you had for it. And like, yeah, when I see people up there doing their thing on stage, it's just like, fuck, man. Like, you start getting that itch. Yeah, you start getting that itch, man. It's like, performance is a drug for sure. Like, that shit gets me high, nigga.
When it's all done, you know, you winding down in your career, and what do you want your fan base to think of you? What do you want them to be said? Like, when you're 80 years old, you run into one of your fans, and just come over the screen like, oh shit, it's Skinny Black.
Man. Yeah, if I could just be remembered as like a thorough MC, like one of the top producers, like one of them cats like up there with like Pete Rock and Primo and Dilla and shit, like, or even not even like at their caliber, but just to be able to have what they have and influence like a whole generation. Because I mean, like, there's the school of Pete Rock, there's the school of Dilla, and it's just like basically, you know, like Kanye West is from the school of Dilla, like Pharrell is from the school of Dilla, Dilla's from the school of Pete Rock, like type of shit. Like, I would love to be like, to hear my sound like influenced, you know, somebody else trying to, I don't know, basically someone else influenced by my sound, like, not like
creating
copying it, but making their own thing. Yeah.
Kind of like you said, you got the school of Dilla, school of Pete Rock. You want to have the school of Skinny Black.
School of June A.K.A Skinny Black, right? University.
Any advice you give to a young untapped artist coming up? You know, somebody who's in your situation 10 years ago, 5 years ago.
Invest in yourself early. Like, start doing it now. Like, if you want to make beats, you know, it's cool if like you don't have the money and you gotta pirate software or whatever. You know, you gotta get like the cracked version or whatever. Not that I'm encouraging pirating software, but it's like sometimes you do what you gotta do. But it's like, at that same time, you should be hustling up the money to get the real deal. Because like, if you can't spend some money on yourself, like, what makes you think someone's gonna go out and pay $9.99 for your CD or whatever? If you can't spend money on you, how's someone else gonna spend money on you? You know, like, so I say invest in yourself, invest in your craft. If you're an instrumentalist, buy an instrument. You know, like, if you have an instrument already, like, master it, develop a relationship with it, and, you know, start looking at getting a professional quality model if you don't already have one, you know, because like, no one's gonna take you seriously if you say you're a sax player and trying to get in on jam sessions or whatever, and you got like a student saxophone. You know what I'm saying? Be you, just be true to you. You're the best you that you can be. Yeah.